So Lewis Hamilton is a 5-time World Drivers' Champion, picking up his 5th title yesterday at the Mexican Grand Prix, a race that was won by Max Verstappen. He did really well to get into the lead at the start. Really bad start for Ricciardo, and then obviously problems later on. I thought Max drove really well. It was a commanding win, I thought. He had to do a little bit of overtaking on the way after pit stops, but I thought he was always in control of that. Lewis Hamilton is one of the greats of motorsport, particularly Formula One. I mean, it would be nice to say that he was one of the greats of motorsport in general, but he hasn't been tested outside of Formula One, really, has he? Not since he rose to that level. But maybe one day he'll do other things as well. I'm not sure. But I worked out that I've been watching, this is the 32nd season of F1 that I've been watching. So I started watching in the era of Mansell and Senna and Prost and Piquet, the first Piquet. And so I've seen a lot of great drivers, you know, Schumacher, Hakkinen, Damon Hill was someone that I really admired when he was in F1. Obviously Alonso came along, we've seen Villeneuve, and there's Jacques Villeneuve. So we've seen some really impressive people. I've seen some really impressive drivers over the years, and in the more modern era we've had this, over the last 10 years or so, we've had this battle really, where two names now dominate, Vettel and Hamilton. And Hamilton is quite apart from anybody of his generation, I think. When I was growing up and first watching F1, people talked about Fangio in mythical terms, and we still do, I think. And when I even hear his name, there's a certain amount of awe comes over me. And he's now equalled Fangio's record. I remember when Schumacher did that, and I remember growing up thinking nobody ever would do that. So I was a little bit emotional yesterday to see Hamilton reach that level. I thought that was, it's not something you see every day. 3 drivers have done it, and he's done it in style. There was a great video, I think there was an interview with Jacques Villeneuve and Martin Brundle on Sky, and Jacques Villeneuve said that Hamilton is better than Schumacher, and he pointed out that with Hamilton what you haven't got is any hint of dirty tactics and some of the stuff that dogged Schumacher's career, which is a real shame. But he's right. Hamilton is a clean racing driver, and I'm starting to realise that he's probably the greatest Formula One driver I've ever watched race. And like I said a few weeks back, it's a privilege to have been able to watch his career. And you have to wonder, there'll be lots of question marks, like what would have happened if without those 4 years of Red Bull domination. And you know, he could have won more, definitely. He maybe could have even won in his first year in F1. But I think what's really important about this year is that he hasn't always had the best car this year, and he's won races without having the best car, and that really sets him apart. I love his driving style, I love his racecraft, and I just think that he is someone who can beat all the records. Actually, we could be looking in 3 years' time at someone who has smashed Schumacher's record of 7 titles. We will have to wait and see. But for now, I just think that I just think it's fantastic. We've got 2 races left this season, and it's been a fantastic season, really. I think the racing's been really good this year, and I have to see, with the pressure off Hamilton, what he can achieve. because he will have felt a certain amount of pressure. There's always a possibility that things can go wrong, and he certainly didn't have the best car and tyre combination yesterday. But for now, what an amazing achievement. Absolutely brilliant. People are going to be talking about Lewis Hamilton for decades to come, just like we talk about Fangio and we talk about Senna, we talk about the other legends of our sport. Well done.